Hey legends, how are you doing? This is Magnus. In this video, I'm reacting to Awesomemay's video, Forgettable Animated Movies. So I already tell I might get a little livid because of the thumbnail specifically has some movies that I really like on here. So I want to listen to his opinion on some of these movies. So let me get straight into it. Please comment, like, subscribe, share the video. I hope you enjoy it. Let's do this.
I'm somebody who likes to indulge in the idea of making an animated movie. What works? What doesn't work? Why I like something? Why I hate something? But to find the good movies that you like, you have to watch many movies, and sadly that comes with a lot of bad movies. And trust me, I have watched so many bad movies. Like, I was for some reason drawn to the worst animated movies when I was like 5 through 8.
Hold the phone, hold the phone, hold the phone. Okay. The nut job, I like that. Chicken Little, people hate on that way too. Oh my goodness, people hate on Chicken Little way too much in my opinion. Madagascar, y'all know that's a class. That is a classic. Barnyard, I also like that one. Flushed Away, that's a good one. Open Season, like that. I think me personally, Open Season 1 is the best out of the trilogy. Um, B movie, I can see it. To me, it's a ironically a B tier movie. It's B tier.
Oh, you grew up with Toy Story and Monsters Inc. I grew up with Happy Feet, Hoodwink,
Happy Feet was good. Hoodwink, that's a classic.
Over the Hedge, and
Another classic.
every Garfield movie.
I
I
haven't
wasted
seen
so
them.
many hours watching those movies.
Haven't seen
What
them.
even happened? Now, there's a pretty big difference between a forgettable movie and a bad movie. Sometimes a bad movie is also forgettable. Sometimes a movie isn't bad, but is kind of forgettable. Sometimes a bad movie has more impact than a forgettable movie, and almost offers more by being bad. For example, The Good Dinosaur is obviously the much better movie compared to Norm of the North. But nobody talks about The Good Dinosaur. You know what they do talk about?
Unfortunately,
Norm of the North. Before I get into this video, I just want to state
The
just
Good
because I think
Dinosaur
a
was a
movie is
real
bad
good
does
movie to
not
me.
mean I outright hate it all the time. If you like the movie I don't like, that's great. We don't have to be exactly like each other. I'm okay
Exactly.
with having people that like different things. Stop commenting things like that. Over the past few years of getting so many amazing
Those who subscribe just because somebody didn't like a movie they liked, that to me is short-minded. Okay, I'm willing to listen to somebody who doesn't like it. I want to hear your reasons on it. So
memorable animated movies, it feels like in this storm of good, we just get so many random boring
I
ones.
like
With
this one.
like the most boring premise that I just don't know how they were made. Who sat down and thought Marmaduke was a good idea? I want to know the people responsible for Pinocchio. I'm not saying that people are losing creativity because that would completely undermine all the creative movies we have gotten. But there's a huge disconnect to what a lot of companies think the audience will like and what they actually like. And that
Woo!
leads us to
Bad
getting
Guys
more
was
movies
great.
like Trolls 2, Five Ice Ages, Boss Baby, Storks,
I like that.
Planes, which is
I like
literally
it.
just Cars, but without the charm of Cars. I never knew if this
I
movie was like a rip.
I kind of agree. Planes is inferior, like slightly inferior to Cars because I like it, but it doesn't. I don't know what it's missing. Planes is missing something that Cars has. Maybe it's the Pixar touch, but I don't know. Something is missing.
Ripoff or associated with Disney. They just never made that clear for some reason. I watched this movie with my family and I don't remember a single moment. I remember the Wii game more. I find myself liking the
It had
idea
a
of a
Wii
movie
game.
a lot more than the actual movie itself.
Ooh,
Execution
I
is
like
a
that.
huge part of what makes an idea
I
work.
like Spies
Anybody
in
can have a good
Disguise.
idea. The hard part is getting it to connect with other smaller ideas in the movie without making your audience confused or bored. And that doesn't always work, sadly. Let's take Secret Life of Pets, for example. In my opinion, a little better than most Illumination movies. The main idea of this movie isn't actually bad at all. We get introduced to the main character Max, who is very happy and content with his life as a dog, and then boom, everything is broken when his owner gets another dog. That's actually a really fun idea, and the characters aren't that bad either. They now have the chance to play on the tension of these two characters and maybe add in some heartfelt moments where Max learns to share the love. But I guess this idea wasn't enough, and the creators felt the need to add the most boring escape story known to man. They really did not try with the villain characters at all. I also feel like animal animated characters are really hard to get right. When I asked my audience on Twitter what they thought was a forgettable movie, a lot of them mentioned animated animal movies. It could be because we're humans and we don't relate or connect with animal characters, but
What?
that can't be right because I
Right.
love Ratatouille.
Tui.
Turning Red was
Turning
amazing.
Red. Lion King. See, this man brings up multiple like honesty. Animated animals people connect more with because like for example, if you showed the death of a puppy or a dog drowning, you feel more inclined or hurt by it than honestly a person
I cry
being
watching
killed.
The Lion King. So that just shows that it's all about connection with the characters. No matter what the character is, if it's believable and has a sliver of personality, then animals can definitely work. Toothless doesn't even talk like the rest of animated animals, but DreamWorks
Exactly.
manages to make you connect with him solely on his eyes and gestures, leading Toothless to be one of the most memorable animal creature characters. And then you got DC Super Pets.
What's
I
the
don't think
problem with
Super
that?
Pets is terrible
I haven't seen the movie
animation-wise, it
yet, but
just
I
seems
want to
like
see
such
it.
a cheap cop-out for an animated DC movie. Just an animated movie in general. Like, DC literally has millions of characters and worlds they could have made into an animated feature, and they just had to choose to make it about the pets. So original. Which is the problem I think we face with animated movies. Repetitive content has become so apparent these last 10 years. So Marvel just dropped their animated movie Spider-Verse. It's crazy good. OMG, I love that movie. We should make a movie like that. Ooh, I like it. Maybe a CGI Teen Titans movie, Lego Batman 2, maybe a Riddler animated movie. No, we need to give them pets. The Rock needs to be in this movie. He will voice the main pet. At the end of the day, it's all about making memorable characters that makes a memorable movie. Like, sure, story and plot matter a heck ton, but if the audience doesn't care for your characters, they're not gonna care for the adventures the characters go on. And you don't need a silly montage to show, hey, this character has personality. They're sad. They're happy. Sometimes it kinda works depending on what your story is, but overall, good characters grow with their surroundings and the story. Coco works because of the wholesome clash with Miguel and Hector. Lego
Yes.
Movie works because of Emmett's optimism clashing with the real world. Luca
Yes.
works so well because of the dynamic of Luca and Alberto's friendship.
Yes.
One character is afraid of doing wrong and obeys the rules, and the other is not afraid to break the rules and actively tries to, which creates this really interesting undertone that makes the audience connect with these characters. And that's when we get to enjoy the story they go on. Pixar is so great when it comes to creating characters because they can make you like a character that seems to be completely unlikable. And then Pixar also does the opposite by making a character that seems to be likable super unlikable to secretly teach the audience a lesson. I just got chills. I wouldn't say Encanto is my favorite movie of all time, but boy are the characters so well written. Disney manages to even make the least likable character have a little bit of redemption, and that is just amazing writing. And then you got movies that don't do any of this.
Ouch.
A lot of these forgettable movies have characters that feel very fast and really bland. Half the time the villain characters feel like they're created not to be a villain but to look as villainy as possible, and they just completely disregard the motives or intent of the character. This is the worst villain I have ever seen in a movie, I'm sorry.
Say what? Oh, okay. 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 Okay.
They gave her a wart and was like, oh yeah, this is our big bad. Buzz Lightyear.
There are villains who, no. At least Dubois was menacing. At least Dubois was a threat. Take Smiley Face from the Emoji Movie. To me, that's one of the worst villains ever. That's one of the worst villains ever because she honestly to me is almost not threatening at all. Okay.
Lightyear worked so well because he was a toy who believed he wasn't a toy, and that brought in a really sad characteristic to him. When you turn toy Buzz Lightyear into a human, you completely forget the entire reason he worked in the first place.
First, okay. As y'all know, I really love Lightyear, but you're telling me nobody ever asked like what was this toy based on? Nobody asked. Nobody.
Toy Buzz Lightyear was unique. He's a toy, a space toy, a new toy. And now he's just a dude. Which is fine because they wanted it to be the origin story of the toy, but like, why? He was a toy. That's what made him good. Why do we need a human version of him? I didn't think it was a terrible movie by any means, but nothing hit me in this movie like most Pixar movies do. It doesn't try to be any more than what it is. And because of that, human Buzz feels very boring in this movie. He barely has any redemption or change. And don't get me started on the plot twist. I actually rolled my eyes in the theater. Characters are the defining factor to why people watch movies. For demonstration, let's compare movie covers. Let's compare Storks to a movie like Zootopia. Zootopia not only has the less generic cover, it also has characters that feel like they have personality. This is just a boring bird. It looks like a template they would use multiple times for background characters. Which this character works for what they're going for, which is storks. But they could have at least tried a little harder with the human characters. They look so boring and bored. Let's compare Smallfoot to Spies in Disguise. Although these movies are pretty close in quality, Spies in Disguise already has the upper hand for having more of a connection with the audience. The Smallfoot characters feel so stale and one-dimensional. The personality feels constrained to the character design. Now, some people could argue that Zootopia is better than Storks because it has that Disney name brand. But then you also remember that Disney made one of the most forgettable Disney movies, Ralph Breaks the Internet. And Pixar made Cars 2 and Brave, so company name doesn't really matter in the long run. Okay, this is probably a really unpopular opinion, but I honestly think Frozen is kind of a forgettable movie.
I honestly agree. I'm sorry. I agree. I agree with this man because the only thing that is oh my goodness, the only thing you really remember about this movie is the darn freaking songs. The only thing you remember is "Let It Go." Oh, for the first time in forever, in summer, you only remember the songs. You don't remember anything else. You don't remember anything else but the songs.
If it wasn't for
Lion King, at least you remember the songs and you remember the characters. You remember the characters, you remember the plot, you remember every detail about the movie. This one is just the songs.
Let It Go, that movie would not have been such a phenomenon.
Yes.
Movie.
Say it again.
If it wasn't for Let It Go, that movie would not have been such a phenomenon.
Thank you.
If you take Olaf and Let It Go out of the equation, would this movie be memorable?
No.
I don't know. The characters aren't amazing.
Nah. Nah, man. I don't give a dog what y'all say to me. Come and get me, Frozen fans. Come and get me. I do not care. Come and get me, Frozen fans. I do not care. If you take out Let It Go and Olaf, it would not have blown up as it did.
Once you've established some likable characters, that's when the plot does start to matter the most. Let's take Smurfs Village. It has some really nice animation, some really great characters, but a super bland plot. And they can't really utilize half the plot by introducing the characters because everybody knows the Smurfs already, so now their only chance to make a good movie is the story, and they failed at it. Which is also kind of the sequel problem a lot of movies have. In the first movie, they do a really good job introducing these characters and they become hits. And in the second movie, they're like, oh shoot, we have to try with the story now. DreamWorks has done such a good job expanding already existing stories to make people care again, because that's what makes a sequel memorable. It has to intrigue the audience just as much as the first one did. And DreamWorks takes...
I would agree that DreamWorks, by far, in the animation industry, makes, I will say, apart from Pixar, even though it's a 50-50 coin flip, DreamWorks makes the best sequel movies. On average, they make the best sequels.
It's the time to not just make a new story, but add on to the character's journey. There's more to that character that we didn't know. In Kung Fu Panda 3, they throw in Poe's dad. In How to Train Your Dragon 3, they make Hiccup old. They're so genius. It's so cool. And then you got sequels that don't expand the story and almost backpedal on what makes...
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Ice Age Collision Course to me is my least favorite Ice Age movie of all time. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm hurt. Because Ice Age Collision Course... They could have given us more backstory on Peach's husband. I'm sorry. But my first guess is like this was the dude who was saying like bird and stuff.
Don't expand the story and almost backpedal on what makes them good. Like Hotel Transylvania 3 and 4. Like
I haven't seen any of those movies. I haven't. So, I wouldn't know. But for Ice Age Collision Course, I've already said it. Least favorite out of the Ice Age movies, in my opinion. I feel like it was very rushed.
I understand a lot of people don't even like the first movie, but I thought it was a lot more original than the third and fourth. It's like they gave up on trying to add anything new to the story, and they were just like, we're gonna make them go on vacation. Hotel Transylvania 3 manages to have every single bad animation characteristic that the story feels almost computer generated. Dance ending, check. Catchy pop song, check. Butt scene, check. Fun montage, Check, check, check. Now, all of this would be fine if it wasn't for the fact that there is no other qualities to this movie. Despicable Me, for example, has all of these checked off too, but it has enough good moments that it kind of balances it out. So that's the conclusion for this video. If you have likable characters that feel like they're believable and
I
a
like
plot
that
that
movie
doesn't
too.
weigh down these characters but gives them more time and moments to shine, then there you have a memorable movie. Now that's probably easier said than done, but if you create something that's special to you, then it'll probably be special to others. And when we do get that lucky movie, it changes tons of lives. And I couldn't be thankful enough that I live in a world with movies like Inside Out, Spider-Verse, Spirited Away, and hundreds of animated movies that have impacted us. Okay, that got really cheesy. I hope you guys liked this video. It was more of like a rant with not much animation or editing. I just kind of wanted to talk. I can't thank you guys enough for the support on my videos lately. It feels really weird that people want to hear my opinions. Like, what? I hope these videos offer you a little bit of substance. Even if you're not gonna make a sequel and it has nothing to do with you, I hope you get maybe some inspiration from my videos. And if you're a director watching this, make good characters, I guess. Also, no hate to any of these bad animated movies. If we didn't have them, then we wouldn't learn from society's mistakes. In order to
True.
have the good, you have to have the bad.
I'm gonna pause it so it doesn't skip to my next video on this playlist that I have of stuff that I want to react to. Anyway, ooh, looks like both of these videos I may want to react to later on. So why were these animated movies canceled? I honestly was looking forward to Gigantic. And then Newt, uh, the only reason that movie was canceled was because of the only reason it was canceled was because Rio came out first. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I do see what he's saying. I do see why he says that a movie can be bad, but it can also be forgotten, or it's so bad that it can't be forgotten. Everything that he said, I can understand that. I disagree. Like, to me, the argument with Lightyear again, it's just I felt like knowing the original character, for example, like making him just a dude that I want to know those who make that argument. Did you watch Buzz Lightyear Star Command? Because I just feel like if you're making those questions for Lightyear, you need to make the same for that show. For example, why were there no merchandise for that ever made? Make make that same argument for Buzz Lightyear Star Command. Why did none of those characters get merch? Then making him just a dude. At least, yes, in Buzz Lightyear Star Command, he is in there. He is cut by cut the exact same character. He's the exact same character in the show. He's exactly the same, except he's an actual Space Ranger. So that's the main difference. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I thought he was specifically going to point out some movies that he thought were forgettable and explain why. But he did point out some great stuff. We need to have bad movies and stuff in order to from learn what not to do and what to do. And then again with Frozen, I completely agree. If it wasn't for Let It Go, Olaf, and maybe a few other smash hits, that movie would not have blown up as big as it did. That's just that's my opinion. And if Frozen fans want to fight me for it, fight me for it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment, like, subscribe, share. Hope you enjoyed. I want to do tier list videos in the future. I think I now may have some inspiration from this video right here. I may have like as inspiration. I will see you in the next one. Later.